Here are 5 easy and budget-friendly DIYs for Christmas. First things first, I'm just going to go grab the decor that I already have in the shop. The goal this year is to not buy anything new and to just use stuff either off the land, hand-me-downs, that kind of thing. So first up, we're going to make a real tree, flocked. So I got this tree free from my mom's yard. She was getting rid of it, so I decided to take it. The only issue with it is that the back side is pretty much bare, but putting it in this big window, you can't even tell. So I'm just going in with some clippers and just trimming up the top and just making it a little bit more tree shaped. I was gonna leave it a lot more wild, and then I actually ended up going back and fixing it a bit. I like kind of how bare it is at the top. I feel like that's a trendy look, even though it was totally unintentional with this free tree, but it works. And then I'm just taking the extra clippings and I'm just putting them in some water in this basket I got for free at a garage sale. And then I just went in with this fake snow spray. It was really, really easy to use, and there was some that I got on the windows that I was able to clean off easily. The only thing I will say is I ended up using quite a bit of it. So this little tree ended up taking about 3 cans, but I really am happy with how it turned out at the end. And then obviously we stopped for an eggnog break. Once the fake snow was all dry, we just went in with some fairy lights. It was super easy to wrap the tree up because, well, it's not a huge tree. And once that was done, it was ready for decorations. So the next morning, I got started on the decorations. I did a bit of a rustic theme with the white minimally because the tree itself is going to be white and some red accents. And I thought it looked nice and like a country Christmas, which is the vibe I was going through. And there is DIY number 1, my budget-friendly flocked Christmas tree. I would say that if you do not have a large yard yourself, don't be afraid to ask your friends, your family, your neighbors if there's any sort of trees that they're looking to get rid of in their backyard, because you never know. And just because it's not a perfect looking tree does not mean that you can't make it really nice for your home. So for DIY number 2, we're actually going to be heading outside to decorate my porch. So I'm out here in my backyard. I'm just going to be grabbing some greenery from the trees back here because, well, they're free. So now that I have them all collected, I'm just going to give them a rinse and just have them soaking in some water for about a day or 2. These urns were hand-me-downs, so I'm just going to give them a good clean, and then I'm going to start putting the greenery that has been soaking in there. There isn't any overcomplicated technique I'm using on these. I'm literally just sticking them in and then just comparing the 2 urns just to make sure that they are similar in fullness and shape. Again, it's kind of like your eyebrows. They don't need to be twins. Sisters is good, that kind of thing. And then I'm just actually using these big giant pine cones that I got last year from a different urn that I just held on to, as well as some other things from a store-bought urn that I am just reusing to put in these ones because I thought that they were pretty. This is probably my favorite DIY of the 5. I was really happy with how they turned out, and then I got really excited and wanted to finish the whole porch. So please enjoy this montage of me completing my porch for Christmas. One thing with this porch, the sleigh, the skates, the ribbon, it's all stuff that I've already had. The skates I got from my grandfather, the sleigh I got from my mother, that was all stuff that's kind of been handed down in the family. And then just stuff that I've collected over time. Again, like nothing new was bought for any of this. What I like about this kind of decor is it's not super in your face Christmas, and it's kind of old world. It's stuff that you can get at the thrift store and use time and time again. It's usually, if it's older, it's usually made of better quality, so it'll sustain the elements a little bit better, all that kind of stuff. So I am a huge fan of using this kind of more subtle winter decor. Alright, so DIY number 3 is an interesting one. My mom usually has the most beautiful tree. I'll have a video of it here. The last few years, she's been going with a pink and white tree, and I think it's absolutely stunning. And I remember a couple years ago, I wanted to get her some more ornaments because she didn't have as many pink ones as she does now. And what I did is I took some existing dollar store ones that I had and I painted them. And I'll be honest with you guys, I was super unimpressed with how they turned out. And recently I saw a video by Pine and Prospect Homes where she actually went in, painted them, and then she did a bit of a snow glaze over top of them. And I really, really liked how that turned out. And I thought that just, it kind of hid the imperfections of the paint from what I could see in the videos. So I decided to give it a shot with these pink ones. So I went in with the original paint that I used that I still had on hand. I just tried to smooth it out as best as I could, and then I used my homemade Mod Podge. It's really easy to make yourself. It's literally just Elmer's glue and water. You can see if you go to the internet, it'll show you what the proportions are for that. And I just went in when the paint was dry, and then I put the Mod Podge on top of it, and then I just took some baking soda and I just dumped it on the wet Mod Podge and then brushed it off lightly with a dry brush. Alright, so DIY number 4 is one of my other favorites. It is a little vignette kind of greenery situation, really good for a dining room table, for a island, because it's not super high profile. You can use any bowl for this. You can see here that I'm using a dough bowl, but you can really use any sort of wooden or ceramic shower bowl and it would turn out absolutely beautiful. But again, I'm using the greenery that I had in my own yard. If you do not have the luxury of that, maybe see if you can go to a local park and grab some greenery. The nice thing about this is that you do not need a lot of it. And I also incorporated some fake greenery as well as the real, and that way it makes it all look real as opposed to just having all fake greenery. And then for the final touch, I took some berries that I already had on my tree in my living room and I put that in there as well as a little plastic deer that I got from the thrift store, and I think it looks super cute. It's almost like a little Christmas bed. So next time you go to the thrift store, just keep your eyes open. And the fifth and final DIY is my Jingle Bell garland. By far the easiest DIY on this list, and usually this is stuff that you will already have on hand, and it was super quick to do. So this part here, I just got these jingle bells from the dollar store. I've had them for a while. I think they're from the dollar store, but you can find these thrifting, or you might already have them. And then I just took some rub and buff and I just did a single coat of the rub and buff. I didn't want to do too many coats of the rub and buff because I actually liked that it was a little bit see-through and that it kind of made it look a little bit more worn without me having to overdo it, which I really liked about it. So just kept it simple, and then I just took some twine that I also had on hand and I just laid it out. I put the bells along it, kind of spaced out where I want them, and then I went and took a Sharpie to just mark where it was that I placed them, and then all I did is I just put them on the string, tied them up where the Sharpie marker was, and it was ready to go. And there you have it. 5 easy and budget-friendly DIYs for Christmas. And that is all I have for you. In the meantime, happy holidays.